party when I was 16 years old. Just like everyone else, had unprotected sex with the wrong person. Didn't know for 8 years. By the time I was diagnosed, I had full-blown AIDS. I had 10 T cells, and I had a 3-year-old daughter. The worst 2 weeks of my life were waiting for her test results to come back. She tested negative. Again, God laid His hand upon that child, because women that have viral loads at that high level usually transmit to their children, and so I've been very blessed along the way. But at that point in time, it was at a different time than what we have right now. It was at a time where when you had the number of T cells that I had, they sent you home and told you to prepare to die. You had 6 months left to live. You should go home and get your affairs in order. And I had a 3-year-old daughter whose father had passed away, and I had to go get my affairs in order, which was very difficult. So I had a social worker at a hospital who introduced me to a clinical trial specialist who happened to know of some clinical trials that I may qualify for. And I met a doctor who changed my life. Now, I must tell you that as a patient, the doctor-patient relationship is key to the success of a patient, not only on clinical trials, but with any disease. You must be able to trust your doctor. You must be able to ask questions. You must be able to have some sort of control within your medical health care decisions. I have been an advocate for 20 years. I advocate, obviously, as you can tell, for women and children, for the most part, because we are underrepresented in clinical trials. The reason I started participating is because I had nowhere else to go. There was nothing for me at that point in time. Clinical trials was the only thing that I could do, the only hope that I had at possibly watching my child grow up. She was 3, and I didn't think I'd see her go to kindergarten. I didn't think I'd see her graduate from high school, or go on her first date, or do any of those things. She's now 23 years old. She's graduated and is a cosmetologist and has a full-time job and is a wonderful, wonderful young woman who had to go through a lot of things at an early age because she watched her mother go through this. But she's a very brilliant young woman. So why do people do clinical trials? It's because of hope. A clinical trial will give you hope. Now, not all of them were successful. I had plenty that were failures. But the ones that were successful brought me hope moving forward. And I can tell you, I remember single drug therapy. And I remember when protease inhibitors came out, and it was the new big cure, the new big drug that was going to cure everything. And I can remember when Timothy Brown was cured of HIV. And that was something I never, ever thought I would see in my lifetime, was someone to be cured of this virus. So, to the patient that participates in these clinical trials, why do I participate? I participate to give back to all of those who suffered in the early 80s, who went through those ACT trials, who died from overdoses of drugs because they were given too much because they didn't know how much to give. For every person who participated in a clinical trial, for every medication that I've ever been on in my entire life that has gotten me to the point where I am today, I participate in a clinical trial in their honor, and so that someone ahead of me, someone in the future, may look back upon my sacrifice that I've made in clinical trial research and say thank you to this person, because what they did has made a change in my life. Thank you very much.